Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining this call. We hope you find this short webinar video interesting and beneficial to your faculties and to your authors. So let me introduce myself. My name's Rob Turner. I work for KGL Accucoms, working in the UK, Scandinavia, and South Africa. And I'm delighted to be partnered with also today's presenter that's on the call, Mike Bayer, who heads up the department here at the Journal of Medical Internet Research, or JMIR. So without further ado, I'd like to get into a conversation with Mike. So Mike, thanks for joining. And Mike, let's begin with you telling us a bit about JMIR Publications.
Sure. Thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me here. So JMIR is a gold OA digital health publisher. We're based in Toronto, Canada, but we have employees around the world. We were born open access in 1999 with our flagship journal, the Journal of Medical Internet Research. But since then, we've grown to more than 30 journals, 21 of which have impact factors in 2025, and 12 of those are ranked Q1.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I mean, it's great to see how JMIR is evolving and obviously looks in a very healthy position. So Mike, just to give some of the members of the consortium a little bit more understanding of what your specific role is at JMIR.
So my title is Institutional Partnership Lead, and I work to create library partnerships that hopefully will save time and money for both researchers and faculty and librarians, while expanding opportunities for open access publishing.
Good stuff. Great. Thanks, Mike. So, Mike, you mentioned the number of high impact factor journals. What is JMIR doing to maintain this high quality and impact in the open access space?
So we have a long-standing commitment to open science. Being born open more than 25 years ago attests to that, and that commitment attracts high quality submissions. Which is, of course, the starting point of high quality output. We have a pretty focused scope with being solely digital health. And because of that, it means that we have internal staff with discipline specific knowledge and experience. So that means that we employ scientific editors, our production team, and our newly expanding research integrity teams all have expertise in digital health. When I joined, the number of folks with PhDs and masters in public health and MDs was surprising to me. But as I've grown to learn more about the business, that's come to be what I expect. And then finally, we use all of this specialized staff to work with the broader research community on a rigorous peer review process. So we emphasize quality and methodology over novelty. Although, of course, everyone's looking for something novel in the research. That's the reason why it's done. Yeah. But we want to make sure that it's been done well.
So, Mike, moving on. So you've mentioned to me before that JMIR has seen substantial growth in submission and publications over, say, the past 2 years. From your perspective, why are researchers choosing JMIR?
So, all those reasons that I just mentioned are an important part of this. But, researchers are looking, they don't want to just publicize their research. But they also are looking to publish in venues that can deliver the research with an impact. And so the high impact journals that we have certainly plays a big role in that. As an example, this year, JMIR Medical Education got its initial impact factor, and it started at 12.5. It's the top journal in its category, and I think that over time that reputation for excellence has driven more submissions, and then of course we get more publications out of that. The other elements for this are that because we are born open, all of our journals are immediately compliant with open access mandates from government and nonprofit funders. So this is an assurance that anything you publish with us is going to be compliant under Plan S or whoever your funder may be. And then finally, I do surveys with our research community, and of course, we look at our Google reviews and anywhere that someone is talking about us, and the element that continues to come up is that we have a reputation for editorial excellence. That's our internal editorial team working with researchers to make the revisions that are going to strengthen their paper, so that it helps drive that impact that is seen in greater citations and an impact factor and so on.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so with terms of the Norwegian consortium, Sikt, obviously it's very poignant, obviously, to this session. But so has Norway followed the global growth trend?
Absolutely, Rob. So output from Norway is already up more than 15% over 2024. And that I sampled that data in the middle of November. And so, there's still plenty of time left in the year. I would imagine that by the end of the year, output from Norway will probably be up by a quarter over 2024. And I imagine that it will just continue, especially as more institutions join this partnership, hopefully. That will drive more submissions also.
Yes, and that is a very good point, Mike, because obviously the ability to enter into such agreements of this is that the objective is to actively encourage more submissions and to drive that output up. So that really is a very important point. So there are several versions of open access. So what is Gold OA, and what sets it apart from the other forms of open access, in your opinion?
So Gold OA is similar to a lot of the other OA models, Diamond, Green, and they share similar elements. So everything at JMIR is published under a CC BY license, so it's free to share and reuse globally. And like other OA models, this has been shown to maximize discovery. By removing readership walls, you increase the number of people who can read it, and then, importantly, cite it, use it in their own research, build upon it, so that the impact. I continue to repeat the word impact, but I think that that's what people are looking for from a publisher. Other elements of Gold OA is, unlike some other forms, is that there's no embargoes on our material. It's immediately, as soon as it's published, it's available globally. And articles aren't published alongside paywalled content. We're not hybrid in any way. Now, I mentioned all of our professional staff that I work with, the very smart and talented people who are providing these editorial and production services. And all of this, of course, costs money. And so Gold OA funds its work mostly through article processing charges, or APCs, which are paid by authors. Now, we removed the barriers for reading access with open access, but APCs, they do create a new barrier to publishing. And this is why we're here today. This is where our library partners can help. We want to replace the individual APC with our institutional publishing fee and remove that final barrier to a fully open publishing ecosystem.
Yeah, good stuff. And listen, when we're talking about APCs, article processing charges, in my experience, from not just Scandinavia, but in the UK as well, one of the most attractive propositions for the open access teams or library staff and indeed authors is it's reducing admin and individual APC invoicing, and of course, paying those charges as well. So it's a very attractive proposition to be able to bring those barriers down, and that's a real common consensus that I certainly get from out the UK as well as Scandinavia. So that's very important to mention there. So when we're talking about fees, how are we structuring the institutional publishing fee in models such as this?
That's what we're here for. We want to know how this is going to work. So the institutional publishing fee, or IPF, so I don't have to keep on repeating that.
Yeah.
Is a single payment, like a traditional subscription, but it allows for unlimited publishing by your affiliated researchers in our 30+ gold OA journals. This has several benefits for libraries and researchers. The first is that it increases equity by providing the same level of access to OA publishing for everyone at the university, from students to the most senior tenured faculty. And this allows everyone to freely choose the best journal for their research without financial concerns. And we also, as Rob mentioned, it reduces administrative time for everyone, because there aren't requests, approvals, tracking, etc. for every single publication. It's just a single payment. And then by removing all of those extra steps, the approvals, the payments, we are accelerating publication, because our team will have applied the waiver for the APC early in the process, in the submission process. So as soon as the article passes acceptance, it will move into our production and copy edit process. So it just accelerates publication.
Perfect, thank you. And are these types of partnerships active anywhere else, Mike?
Absolutely. So we have similar partnerships in the UK, in Germany, in the Netherlands, and in the United States. Our UK partnership with JISC is now in its 4th year, and in 2025 we added 9 new members, so almost doubled the number of participating institutions. And in each year we do projections for what each institution is going to have for output, and every year the researchers exceed our even most optimistic projections. As an example, in the first year of the agreement, we anticipated that there would be about 100 articles from the dozen participating institutions, and we published almost 150.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So the output continues to grow each year, and in 2024, which is the last year that I have the full data for, almost 60% of the articles in JMIR from UK researchers were published without an APC. In the year prior to this agreement, that was under 5%. And then in Sweden, we have an agreement with Bibsam, which operates slightly different from what we would be doing in Norway, but it provides the same service. Publishing output in 2025 has grown by more than 50% over 2024. And the participating institutions, they'll have saved about $60,000 on APCs by the end of 2025. So the mission with this agreement, with these types of agreements, is to expand opportunities for researchers to share their valuable work with the entire world. And the evidence so far, we're only a few years into offering these types of partnerships, but the evidence is that they're succeeding. Yeah,
which is great to hear, Mike. And I mean, look, it goes without shadow of a doubt that the mechanics and the structure of these agreements are working. We can see this by the large percentage growth, especially in relation to BIBSAM in Sweden, of course. But of course, these agreements are trusted now, and we can see that, what I would always commonly say, the kind of Plan S hotspots, which obviously emanated out of Europe and the whole movement starting in Germany, of course. But I think when you've got the UK, Germany, Netherlands and Sweden, when they're entering into these agreements, we can be very confident of the value that they're giving, and the ethical stance within the research community. Well, so that short summary there, Mike, I think it's really, really impressive. So moving on, Mike. So you've described the success stories, which is brilliant. But what happens if the output projections are not reached, for example? So, you estimate the university will publish 10 articles, but they only publish 5, for example, or smaller. Does it, or smaller, or the institute doesn't publish anything at all? How do we approach that? How do we counteract those?
So we understand that librarians are careful with their institutional funds. They're generally pretty limited. And so we think that we have a solution for this challenge, which is that we roll over any remaining funds that didn't go towards publishing, and we apply it to the renewal fee. So I have a couple examples of this to help illustrate my point. Yeah. So for a larger institution, let's say that they've paid $25,000 for those 10 articles, but they only publish 5 articles that have a total APC value of $15,000. So there's $10,000 remaining that didn't go to support publishing. We will take that remaining 10,000, and when you renew in 2027, we'll apply that to your fee. So we'll reduce your fee.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So you'll save money in the following year. Your money, your initial payment, none of it disappears into the ether. It doesn't just go into our pocket. Every penny will be used to support publishing from your authors. And then you also mentioned, what about a smaller institution? It's easy for a larger institution to see, oh, if we go from 7 articles to 11 articles, because of this, we're going to see really great value. But what about a smaller institution that maybe publishes once a year or once every 2 years? Where is the value for them? So we wanted to make sure that this type of offer was available for researchers at those smaller universities. They should have access to this deal as well.
Yeah.
And we needed to remove all of the risk for those librarians. So we allow them to join at the entry-level price for institutions with no output. And in the event that no one at their institution is able to take advantage of the opportunity in that deal term, we will just renew at no additional cost. So if your initial fee was 2,000 euros, then next year it'll be 0. And we'll just keep applying that money until someone uses it. It will be available to you until one of your researchers takes advantage of the opportunity. And then we'll look at your growth pattern at the same way that we did in the first year. We'll take a couple of years of publishing history, see what their output is, what's the value there, and we'll recalculate your price for the following year.
That's great.
So
and again,
Mike, is used for publishing, and the money doesn't expire at the end of the deal.
Yeah, which again, Mike, is another great example of the great ethical approach to these agreements, but also just making sure that we're maintaining these standards and maintain good value for money. And any possible new institutions wanting to join, I think it would certainly put their mind at rest that they'd be able to more easily manage their budgets to incorporate this, given the fairness of the model. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for explaining all that. So we'll go to some questions that I've had previously sent to me. So let's have a look. Okay. So there's just a few questions. So, what's the term of the agreement, Mike? I mean, can we do 1 year? Can we do multi-year deals? What's the kind of preferred setup?
So since we're focusing on the opportunity in Norway today, the pilot agreement with Sikt is for the 2026 year, so January 1 to December 31st.
Yeah.
We are, with other whether they're consortia or individual institutions, we are open to multi-year agreements. We want to remain as flexible as possible to be able to meet the needs of the customers. So this particular offer in Norway is for the 2026 year. Because it's a pilot, we're finding out if there's interest in Norway for it. But we're open to working with other institutions on multi-year deals if that's what works for them.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Mike. And how do you calculate the renewal price in the year? Because obviously we've already touched on the fact that we can do adjustments in terms of initial payments and versus publishing activity. But what's the general premise for working out the members' renewal price?
So in 2027, or at the end of 2026, as we're approaching the renewal date, I will be looking at the 2026 output.
Yeah.
And in the same way that I took multiple years of output to calculate the 2026 price, I'll do the same thing, but I'll just move everything up a year. So I know that because our price is based on APC value of your output, and I keep on talking about how these types of agreements really drive growth and output, that can sometimes cause some worry for our customers that their price is going to explode. And I hope that the way we've structured the deal by using multiple years of output and averaging those means that the price doesn't explode with the output, that it grows gradually because it still has the prior to the agreement years in there that have the lower output. So we understand that a library can't sustain a 50% increase in their price, and so we include the previous years to make sure that that's a little more gradual. And our experience with JISC is that after about 2 or 3 years, things start to settle off. That we kind of maximize the amount of output we can get from any. There's only so many people at any university that are researching in our area, and so once the deal becomes available, of course our output grows, but then we hit a status quo kind of, and then the price tends to remain a little more stable.
Okay, that seems certainly the most sensible approach, and like you say, no sudden hikes or surprises for the members. And lastly, Mike, a question that I had come in today also. How is this agreement different from your more kind of, dare I say, kind of more traditional read and publish agreements that have certainly been very, very popular over the last, say, 5 to 10 years?
That's a great question. I find that our offer is often just grouped in with the R&P agreements, the transformative agreements that other publishers are offering. But because we've never been behind a paywall, there's no subscription fees that need to be transformed. There's no reading access that's included in our deal because, of course, everything is already available to be read. So we are asking our library partners to change how they think about their budgets and their where they've been solely focused on content acquisition and making sure that their research communities have reading access to the content that publishers are releasing. If you're already paying in a read and publish agreement for a portion of publishing, then let's think about that budget as having two separate components, a reading budget and a publishing budget, and include JMIR in the publishing portion of that budget.
Perfect. That's great. Thanks, Mike. Well, I think on that, Mike, that brings our session to a close. I'd like to thank you, Mike, for your time today. I really do hope that our Norwegian library friends found this insightful and has been able to give a fantastic overview of the structure of the agreement that JMIR is offering for 2026. If there's any further questions, Mike and I will be leaving our details in conjunction with this session. So please do not hesitate to make contact with us. Thank you.